It's that time again. Time for some real talk about real issues to enhance your real life. Whatever you think, whatever you know, whatever you feel, Tanya doesn't mind talking about it. Get ready for some real talk that is always rated R, because Talk with Tanya has got to be relevant. Talk with Tanya has got to be refreshing. But most importantly, Talk with Tanya has got to be real. Tune in right now for Real Talk with Tanya White.
All right, happy Easter, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk with Tanya White live pop-up interviews with today's woman, most admired woman nominee, Christina Booker. Welcome to the show,
Hello.
Christina.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. I was unable to attend yesterday. She made the ballot. Did you go?
I did. I did. It
How
was
was it?
lovely. It was a cute little like outdoor mixer type thing. So I got to meet a lot of the other nominees. So that was
Nice.
fun, and just to hear about what they do. And make some connections, and being in the arts category, I'm always like, well, how can we collaborate?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really good morning, early afternoon, and of course it's just nice to see women genuinely supporting women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So take us back to when you got the email that you were today's woman, most admired woman nominee.
Take us back. Well, I had to read it twice. I was really just honored to be nominated. Because nobody, I've worked with quite a lot of people, whether it's collaborating for a show or teaching somebody, and so nobody mentioned to me that they had nominated me.
Yeah.
I'm still not really sure. I have some ideas, but so just honored to be nominated. It's one of those kind of moments along the journey that remind you that what you're doing is making a difference to somebody.
Yes.
And that's the point for me. Part of the point, anyways. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think they're going to tell who nominate. Like you said, it's just an honor and blessing to be nominated. If you're listening right now, go to thedayswomannow.com. Go to the arts category. Vote for Christina Booker. Now it says that on your description on today's woman that you are a captivating soprano, a music educator, and you are went to school Loyola University Maryland and the University of Louisville. Now, how did you get to Louisville?
I actually have a connection to Louisville from undergrad, really. Okay. I grew up in Alabama, so I went to Jacksonville State University.
Okay.
And my voice teacher was Teresa Strickland, and she studied with the incredible Edith Tidwell, who she was a voice professor at U of L. She is retired, but she has gone on to sing opera on so many, like in New York and across the world, and has done so many great things. And so she kind of introduced me to the program in undergrad.
Okay.
Just talking about that. And then, just doing my own research, I heard nothing but great things about the program. So I came and auditioned, and I liked them, and they liked me. And so that brought me here. I moved up here in 2017.
Okay.
I taught a little bit in Alabama before I moved up here. And ever since then, I graduated in 2019. I think my graduation was May 9th. So I used to joke with everybody that I got myself a degree for my birthday.
That's right.
My birthday is the 10th.
Okay, absolutely.
But I like the city. There's so many opportunities for the arts here. And it's a nice location to be, that's kind of central to other really kind of arts hubs. Yes. Where, we're only about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Cincinnati, which, right after I graduated, I got my first real professional contract for a show, and we started up in Cincinnati. But I can also go to Nashville if I need to, and the airport's right there. So
yes,
it's a nice place to be.
Yes. Yes. I've heard from artists and was this visual performing arts, that Louisville is that central. And a lot of people who said, who are from Louisville and say, hey, I want to be in the arts, they don't consider that Louisville is a growing arts hub. And I guess it's just like anybody, you just want to spread your wings. And so
Of course.
you are, let's go back to this captivating soprano. Or because that's kind of difficult, to be. When they say captivating soprano, it means you hit all of them notes. Uh, for real, hit all of them notes.
We
So
do.
when did you start singing, and then when did you know, hey, because we all grew up in the church choir.
We did.
We all
Yeah, I did.
At Friendship Baptist Church where I grew up, you may start off as a soprano, but if you Miss Jackie needs you to do alto, you learn how to do alto, then you learn how to do tenor. But it was when I read Captivating Soprano, I could just hear some the captivating sopranos at Friendship who are bona fide sopranos, and they can't sing nothing else, and we don't want them to sing nothing else because we want that soprano high note. When did you know,
Yes.
Christina?
I as you said, grew up in church choir, had really great mentors there. And then I was very fortunate, particularly for being in the state of Alabama. I got in my public education, I had a really good music education. I grew up in a system that really supported the arts. So I had music class pretty consistently. And I had teachers who were always encouraging us to explore, regardless of what we were working on at the time. So, if we were working on, specific instruments, it was, hey, explore these things. If we were working on vocal things, it was explore these different levels of your voice. And I've always kind of had a wide range, but soprano is just kind of what feels like home for me.
Yeah.
So I continued that, did middle school and high school choir. Choir is what got me into college. I got scholarships for that, both in undergrad and for grad school. And so I've really had the opportunity to really hone in on that and develop that soprano, that technique, and all of those things. So it's just kind of always been there.
Wonderful. So you said something that sparked my heart. As 25 years in education, I've seen the funding for not only music but other arts programs decline, and which is unfortunate because as I was growing up, we had many different. It gave us options to explore what we really wanted to do, and even if choir was not something we wanted to pursue, it was an outlet. Absolutely. Why is it important? Speak from that educator's voice, because I see that you are serve on the faculty of Bellarmine and IU University Southeast. Yes. Why it is such important to pour into arts programs in education?
I believe, and we all have some sort of artistic capability, and some students never really get the chance to explore that, which is pretty unfortunate because, not every kid is going to be able to play a sport.
Yes.
Not every kid's going to be interested in playing a sport. And so, when you lose those things, when you cut those things, you are essentially taking away something that could be an outlet for a student.
Yes.
You never know who's sitting in your classroom, and the opportunities that can come from that. I was able to make, you know, we call it our international debut, but I was able to go to Costa Rica and perform. You know, there are places that I don't know that I ever would have been able to see without the arts.
Yes.
And the arts have also been, you know, you can use the arts as a tool for expression. You know, I have so many music therapy friends, and, you know, we've had many conversations about how, you know, you may have somebody who can't verbalize something or they can't express something, but they can find a song that does.
Yes.
Or, you know, in all the arts, they can draw you a picture that can, or, you know, all of those things. And so when you cut those things, you are not only cutting access to opportunity, but you're also cutting access to tools for development and growth.
Yes.
That are just so important. You know, we can always make the argument that music helps math and music helps science, and music is science. You know, when you talk about the acoustics, that is a science lesson.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, when you're breaking down rhythmic patterns, that is a math lesson. You're learning about simple versus compound. But music for its own sake is also valid and so important. So again, I'm very fortunate to have had the opportunities that I've had with music and singing, and yeah.
Wonderful. Now you are you've worked with the Kentucky Opera, Derby Dinner Playhouse, Faith Works Studios. That's Rush Trail, right?
It is.
Listen, Rush, you know I've been trying to get you back on this show. Christina, tell him call Tanya White, okay?
Listen, we'll get him in there.
He stays booked, busy and booked. I know that. But let's talk about the Kentucky Opera. When we talk about opera, that is a genre of music that is so looked over, but especially it's when we think about that genre of music, we don't automatically think that it's diverse. And African Americans can sing that and are drawn to that. What drew you to first of all work with the Kentucky Opera and just get interested in the genre of opera?
I developed an interest in opera pretty early. Opera and musical theater, really. I had a friend of the family, church member, really kind of an extra auntie for me. But she introduced me to Leontine Price, and that's really all it took.
Boom! If y'all don't know who she is, you better look up.
You better look her up.
That's all it took. Boom, but I didn't need no more.
That's really all it took. And then, you know, from the musical theater side of things, it was Audra McDonald, and I was like, okay. These are two.
See, y'all know her from the movies, but she was a theater. She came from the theater, and that's why she's such a passionate actress and artist. Let's put a little tag in that. But why is theater so different than any like film or any other thing? What disciplines do you glean from theater?
It's real time. You can't say, oh, cut that, strike that, let's roll it again. Like, it's real time. And so you are learning, you know, if something goes wrong, you're learning real time problem solving. You are, particularly with opera, you're oftentimes not mic'd. The tradition is for that to be not mic'd. Now, there have been some companies throughout the years that have kind of moved away from that because they have been filming their shows and for whatever the reason may be. But you're learning communication skills. You're learning how to project in a healthy manner.
Yes.
You're learning, you know, okay, try to say that this way. You're learning, you know, the delivery of what it is you're saying matters. You know, we always say tone matters. Absolutely. And so, all of those things that they are important in film and other versions of that, but they're not as, I guess, as prominent, because again, like I said, if something goes wrong on a set, you can always run that back, right? You don't have that opportunity, and you also get the energy from a live audience,
yes,
which can be great. but it again, you never know which way that's gonna go either, you know.
And so you have to flow with that. You can't,
absolutely,
even though you like say you're like, oh, I'm really giving it, but you're not giving the audience like, and you could feel that. You have to pivot, as I've tell some of my staff. You got to pivot,
absolutely,
pivot without pouting, because that's in real time, right?
Yes, I love that, pivot without pouting. And you know, on the other side of things, you may have an audience member. Sometimes I always want to say, y'all know we can hear you,
right?
Because sometimes they get to talking and they forget that I'm like, oh, I can hear you, and you have to hold it together yourself, right?
Yes.
So mother on the first row and said something that's got you ready to bust, and you can't.
Because you in real time.
Yes. I did a show and we used water. Like there was real water. And all I heard from an audience member was, oh, am I finna get wet? And I was like, ooh.
So I would implore you, and that's a good exercise for any like workplace environment. Let's put on a theater. Let's go to the theater, get some theater instruction, because it teaches you, I heard you say communication. It's in real time, and you have to hold some stuff in, even though you're hearing it clearly and you are emotional, you still have to hold it in. Oh my God, Christina Booker.
And truly, yes.
Okay, no, finish. What was you gonna say? And truly,
I was gonna say, and truly, like collaboration with others. Like that's the big thing too, because you can practice something until you're blue in the face, but if the other artist that you're working with gives you something a little bit different, again, that's that real time activity. You have to figure out how to bounce off of that. And so it's truly communication, collaboration, all of those things that are truly important to development and functioning as a human.
Functioning as a human. Yeah, I have a staff member who always says she was theater major, been in a theater. But she says every department needs a theater person because of what you just said. Because we don't think about those skills being life, human, healthy skills. Collaboration, communication, knowing how to hold some things in when you clearly hear things that will ignite emotions that are not proper for that moment.
Absolutely.
So love it. Christina Booker, how can people stay connected with you? And I told y'all to go vote right now at todayswomannow.com in the arts category. It's the first category on the page. So click and go to Christina Booker. How can our audience stay connected with you?
I am on Facebook, just Christina L. Booker. You can search me that way. And I am on Instagram, CL Booker 33. And also I have TikTok as well, and I believe that one is just Christina L. Booker as well. And so I try to post things from different practice sessions, things that I share with my students, and all of the, and you know, things that I have coming up. So
if
would
somebody
love
wanted
to see you all there.
Wanted to become a student of yours, a vocal coach student, how would they reach you? Via social media? Do you have a email?
Yes, they could find me on, again, they could go through Facebook or they can email me. My email address for that is clbooker19@gmail.com.
Simple. clbooker19@gmail.com. Congratulations, Christina. I will see you June 10th. Y'all get y'all tickets. I believe tickets are on sale for the Today's Woman, Most Admired Woman Gala. You can go to todayswomannow.com, and when you're there, go to the arts section, vote for Christina Booker. All of y'all who've attended any faith work studio, vote for Christina. And then you're going to slide down to the education and vote for your girl, Tanya White. I'm in the education category. And so thank you so much. Until June, we will see who the winner is. But we're all winners, Christina, because I heard it was over 400 submissions, and we made the final 100 cut.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. So until next time, you guys, again, happy Easter, and we'll continue these live pop-ups all throughout the week until May 2nd. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Miss Booker.
Thank you.